few people standing in for each other this evening. The first person doing it is standing performance is my fellow ward councillor Matt Harmer, who's going to be covering both the recommendations from local economics work as well as marketing and commercial.
Yeah, much of the work on this was done by Rory Hendricks, who you might know as one of the owners of the Specialised Opticians. I'm a local councillor, I'm not a high street trader, but as one of the people behind the eventually ill-fated attempt to revive the farmers market in High Street last year, I'm well aware that the challenges of creating a strong economy in the High Street are fairly intense. I want to whip through this fairly quickly because there's quite a lot of detail in here. These are the summer things that we had to cover. We needed some detail on what we had. We needed, and we were going to need to know much more on these details, the land cost, the cost of these developments are going to come. And we decided, unfortunately, maybe to keep some of the information to ourselves in terms of confidentiality. And in terms of capital investment, these two recommendations I think are very important. We need more detail, and then they must go into the public domain. Everybody must have a chance to see what's going on. And I'm sure, well, I'm guessing here people here know what about 106 contributions are. Money that will be paid over by the developer, the conditions that the developer will sign up to. We all want to strongly scrutinise everything there. Sustainability has got to run through the core of everything that we do. The survey went out online through people's letterboxes, and we're grateful to everybody that returned it. 64% of you don't enjoy visiting the high street. That's a bit of a nuisance. 18% tells us that the high street offers anything you can get elsewhere. Another interesting survey that came up. 42% had only spent money on the high street that week. 42%, 4 out of 10. Put your hands up if you only spent money in Brentford High Street last week. Only spent money in Brentford High Street. You didn't. Where's everybody else going? Most of us are going to Tesco in Osterley. A few going to Ivy Bridge. It's an interesting likely base. It'd be interesting to know, I think, the actual amount of pounds and pence spent on the high street as part of that percentage. All details to come out. How often do you visit to shop? Well, these are quite healthy figures, it seems to me, 2 or 3 times a week. So there is footfall. As Tim says, there are people going there. How many shops do you visit? This is the problem. People visit 1 or 2 shops. Now, quite what that means, I don't know, whether there's only 1 or 2 shops that they're interested in, whether they're just going for a targeted purchase, they're going to the pharmacy, they're going to buy a new bike. We don't know. Probably not many new bikes because most people will spend less than £30 on a visit. Good to cruise that up. If the high street wasn't here, where would you go? Most of us go to Chiswick and then Ealing. I think there's a bit of a gap in that survey. My guess is that Hounslow would be a bigger response than that, so I'm surprised at that. A lot of people gave the reason for going as supporting local traders, and that's, as Tim again has said, something that we value dearly. Now, all of the information on this slide will be familiar to everybody, so I won't go into it too much. But if I cross over to... Here we are. In the green box at the bottom, we need additional floor space, we decided. Between nearly 4,000 and 6,500 square metres. That's about 2.5 or 3 summer fields of extra floor space. Doesn't have to be a summer field, or don't mean we need another 2 summer fields, but we need more floor space. All right, what are we recommending? Mixed retail offer on a smaller scale than the old proposals, with an anchor store. The anchor store, that's what's going to bring people in, but we want to be ambitious on the shops that are here once people have arrived. And as you can see below, target it towards Brentford expenditure, which is something we'll come back to briefly in the marketing section. This map is possibly most useful for the areas outlined in red, which are owned by the local authority, the council. It shows you that as a council and as councillors, there's still a lot of importance in what we can do. So we're not totally beholden to the developers. We do have some influence. Rent management and retail mix, we continue with this. These are all recommendations, and I think that they're all good recommendations. A retail business study of the high street economy. Now, there's been a retail needs assessment done for around West London. We're going to need to do more. We need facts and figures behind what we need. Usage classes and pavement usage permissions on the north side of the high street. It's a big wide pavement. I got a phone call a few months ago from somebody that they'd like to open a little florist stand, possibly in the market, what they call Market Square, or that wide bit of pavement. The administration and the licensing hoops that were necessary to jump through were far too high. Let's try and do something about that. Geronimo removing the boarding from the retail units, of course. Nobody wants to spend time going past boarded up shops.
And they've done that.
And indeed they've done that, that's it. And if we move on, an annual retail action plan, monitoring the situation, in other words. The High Street Traders Group and the Chamber of Commerce have come on in leaps and bounds over the last year or 2 years, and there's an impetus now. The people that are here tonight, we're all part of that, and we need to carry on doing it even once the development is underway. Once the development is complete, it needs to be a continuing programme. We also want to look at the function of the different shops and the turnovers and the leases. It can be difficult to open a special interest shop that might be selling cute out-of-the-way things if the rent is entirely decided on a what the market will bear basis. The outcome of that could just be a high street full of bookmakers, and I don't know how many people here see that as one of the big priorities. If you do, fill it in on the post-it note and put it on the wall, but it hasn't come up so far. And also Summerfield. There is talk occasionally of working with more detail in Summerfield and using the Summerfield site as part of the High Street. It's one of the main entrances to it. They deserve to relocate it.